For some, Wolves won a home game. Bolton Wanderers conjured up one of the best wins in their history, scoring 6 to see off Spurs. And Brighton's fans took to the streets of London to demand the FA save their club from oblivion.
Well, just to add to the sense of crisis, Brighton have the worst playing record in the country. Knocked out of the FA Cup by part-timers Sudbury midweek, 92nd in the league. They faced Fulham this weekend, and things didn't get much better. Well, we'll try to get to grips with the Brighton crisis. First of all, it's Division 1.
Barnsley went so close to ending Bolton's unbeaten home record. Here's John Helm.
So Sellers now swings it up there. Nathan Blank. And you won't get an easier goal than that. He'll have a real tilt from here, John Hendry, and he'll weave into position. Oh, he's down. Penalty kick without question. Sheridan brought him down. Now, a bit of pressure on Neil Redfern here. He's missed twice recently from the spot. He also, it has to be said, is converted for this season. And he scores this time, 1-1. Hits the plate into the path of Marcel. Tries to confuse the defender, and this is Clint Marcel, and he's got the ball in here. Lovely move. Can Wilkinson finish it? He goes down. There's the shot, and it could well be a winner from Redfern. Cracking goal from Redfern, who repeats his feat of scoring twice against Bolton at Oakwell. It's a corner for Bolton Wanderers. It's a steep one. Lee, forward again. Oh, a miss kick here. And Bolton have got an equaliser from Alan Thompson.
It's a measure of how far you've come, that you come to Bolton and are disappointed not to win.
Yeah, that's right, John. I mean, that's the standards that they've set themselves, in all honesty. You know, they're coming to here now with full of confidence. You know, I can sense the mood in the dressing room before the game, that they really wanted to win this game, and they can get themselves unlucky not to.
But Bolton are still stretching their lead. Crystal Palace have suddenly hit a confidence crisis. Dave Bassett could only hope it's a blip and not something more permanent. The boost of a fifth-minute goal from Neil Shipley didn't last long. 5 minutes later, Steve Livingston was equally clinical as the ball dropped inside the area. Grimsby will name their new manager this week. Caretaker boss Kenny Swain is now the favourite after 2 wins running. Graham Rodger made it 2-1. This victory delighted Stuart Houston after 3 home defeats running. His side needed to match in-form Sheffield United, and when John Spencer, Houston's little big man, was fouled by Paul Parker, Rangers had their chance. Simon Barker took it. Sheffield United did put together a grandstand finish, but the equaliser eluded them. Tranmere Rovers were inspired by their biggest crowd of the season. Admission prices had been cut to £5, and by Pat Nevin, an early sub. Nevin's shot came back off the bar. Jed Brannan knocked in the rebound. Ipswich had their moments, and Tranmere were only safe when their 2 veteran internationals combined with 15 minutes left. Nevin's curling cross was dispatched by player-manager John Aldridge. Stop Aldridge and you stop Tranmere, but it's just not that easy. When the ball is delivered into the area, Aldridge always seems to be in the right place. The 3rd assist went to Kenny Irons. That's 14 for the season to Aldridge. Wolves have been awful at Molineux, but Manchester City's chances of inflicting another home defeat were seriously undermined by a first-half injury to goalkeeper Martin Margetson. Andy Dibble came on as a replacement. The commentator is Peter Brackley.
Osborne. Good run from Kurika. Dibble was in trouble. Dennison. Back in and Roberts. It all stemmed from an uncertain goalkeeping from Andy Dibble, and Ewan Roberts has punished him for it in the most positive fashion. His ball, and Roberts, good save by Dibble. Roberts for the follow-up. 2-0, and this man has scored them both. This is Robbie Dennison. Roberts looking at the far post. Dennison. Oh, what a goal! Magnificent goal from Robbie Dennison. Beaming smiles from McGhee and his assistant Colin Lee. What a goal.
Regardless of what we feel in the dressing room and in the training camp, out in the street and when amongst the punters, they're hearing it all the time, you know, when we're going to win at Molineux, when we're going to win at Molineux. Everybody's been desperate for it. People were hearing the results away from home, and that's great. It's all the same. You know, I think if we'd had the results at home that we've had away from home, you know, people would believe for a long time that we were promotion candidates, even if our away form was as bad as our home form has been. But now we've turned that around to a degree, only to a degree, because we have to come back here the next home game and win it, and we've lost 5, so we've got at least 5 to win anyway.
Last month, Norwich won at St Andrews and stretched 12 points clear of Birmingham. Now the gap is down to just 2 points. Trevor Francis's latest signing, Martin O'Connor, acclimatised immediately, scoring on his debut. But Birmingham's unlikely hero was veteran goalkeeper Steve Sutton, back in the side and outstanding. In the final minute, Norwich were awarded a dubious penalty for handball. Robert Fleck took responsibility, but Sutton gets right, and Norwich had lost again.
We haven't become a bad team overnight, and but we'd have to stick together. We've had the pats on the back when we're doing well, and we, the team, myself and John Bolton and that, we'll stick together and we'll turn it round. As simple as that.
Swindon are one of the division's unpredictable teams. Won 9, lost 10. They were dreadful at Sheffield United 4 days earlier, but rose to the challenge of this local derby. Kevin Horlock's 5th-minute header was quickly cancelled out by Trevor Morley, Reading's top scorer, and their best hope of avoiding a relegation struggle. But Swindon were the stronger, more imaginative side. Mark Walters was having a good day, and the wingers' elusive running and some tidy passing unhinged the Reading defence for Wayne Allison, just onside, to beat Tommy Wright. 3 minutes from time, Swindon made sure of the win, their revenge defeat at Reading, as Walters rounded off his excellent afternoon with the sort of jinking run and cross shot that's been his trademark. Portsmouth marked Terry Venable's first official match as chairman in the best way. It wasn't a classic though, and neither was the winning goal, scored by Andy Turner. To the manor ground, Oxford versus Charlton, here's Peter Brackley.
Here's Rush. Couldn't turn Chappell though. White. Oh, a chance here, and a goal. Tucked into by Barnes. Lee Byrne as ever making a nuisance of himself. And then putting Whitehead under pressure. The goalkeeper was almost caught. Now he's got a scamper back. This is Sean Newton. Great save, but White is there.
No goals at Port Vale, and not much danger of one for most of the afternoon. Two sides struggling for their best form, protected what they already had. No goals against and 1 point. Although Port Vale's Steve Guppy almost spoilt things. West Brom suffered the rare setback of an away defeat at Manchester City last week. There were no early signs of any hangover at Bradford, who struggled to clear an early corner, and they paid for it, as Paul Groves headed in Ian Hamilton's curling cross. But Bradford deserved their equaliser. From Chris Waddle's free kick, Dutch defender Marco Sass timed his header absolutely right. Bradford are unbeaten in 4. Oldham's unbeaten league run is now 8 games. 5 of them have been drawn, and this was another salvage operation. Southend's bright start brought an excellent goal, volleyed in by John Nielsen. Southend's Andy Harris was the culprit, though, for Oldham's equaliser, first with a mistimed header, then with a clumsy push on Stuart Barlow. Manager Graham Sharp saw it coming. He'd introduced his penalty taker Lee Richardson just 4 minutes earlier, and Richardson coolly made it 1-1. Grimsby's second win running lifts them off the bottom, above Oldham on goals scored. Queen's Park Rangers were the only other winners in the bottom half, but just 5 points separate the 12 clubs. 7 points is now Bolton's lead. Crystal Palace were beaten, so was Sheffield United. Tranmere and Wolves move above Norwich, who dropped to 7.